Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our podcast dedicated to sight reading through the lens of the historically informed performance practice. My name is Darina, and today we are in Stockholm at a conference organized by Early Music Association REMA and the Early Music Festival in Stockholm. And I am delighted to be talking with the Artistic Director of the Early Music Festival in Stockholm, Peter Pontvik. Hello, Peter. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast.
I'm enjoying the weather and the whole festival, and it's an amazing event. And I was wondering about the background of the festival. So could you please share with us the origins of the Early Music Festival in Stockholm? How did it all begin? And what was your vision when you first started it?
Well, yes, of course. We are right now in the middle of the old town. This is the most beautiful place of the city, I would say. This was also a cultural center in the 17th century. We are very close to the German church, where that is also our main stage for the festival. And how it began, yes, it was in 2002. We are now celebrating the 23rd edition of the event. I saw the need of a platform for early music performing, for meeting Swedish and musicians in the field and musicians from abroad. So we used the moment when the city of Stockholm celebrated its 750th anniversary. And we created a festival at the same time, and it was a big success. The first edition, I remember, we had the Choriza Val on viola da gamba, viol. Before, there was barely nothing in terms of early music performing. You know, Sweden is a bit of a peripheral country in Europe. We are, of course, it's a beautiful city and we are in the Nordic region. But in any case, a lot of artistic material and the people, also historically speaking, that came to our country was kind of imported from France, from Germany, England, etc. The festival was really created in order to offer the Swedish audience a place where we could show the richness of the early music performance that is quite more common in Central and South of Europe, I would say. And let's say that the development of the festival as a phenomenon in the Swedish cultural scene was quite positive during these years. I saw it myself also as a pedagogical action in terms of educating the audience about what early music is and what it could be, the different sources in terms of, aristocratic or sacred or folk music origins. I would say a big part of our artists never had been in Sweden before, so this is interesting for them, and it's interesting also for the listeners.
In the society, the request was already formed that this kind of event was needed here in the cultural scene.
One thing you could say for Swedes, for the Swedish people, is that they have a quite weak relationship to their own history. This is not the same thing as you will find in the Netherlands or in Germany and Spain. People, they know about their history, but they don't feel it. And I saw also there a big field of work to do to show our own audience what our history implies, how this history is related to the European heritage, what it can offer to us in order to understand where we are, what we are doing. You need really a background for yourself as an individual and also in collective terms to know where we are in cultural visions and in cultural interaction today.
So maybe we're coming to the personal journey. What drew you personally to early music, and how did your journey in this field led you to become the director of the festival?
Well, I guess I'm a person that like initiatives. So my background is from as a composer. I studied in Sweden and in Germany, but also before in South America. I lived for several years in Uruguay. because of a familiar history. I was interested in composition, and that was the way I thought I would take. But early music was always present. I started listening to the Argentinian radio. I remember concerts of medieval music, Renaissance music, and I was fascinated myself. And then later I could also take courses in Germany at the Karlsruhe Musikhochschule, and in this way came closer as a singer, as a conductor. Then I founded the ensemble Villancico. That is my ensemble that I think we work together now for 29 years, and having made tours in the whole world in 30 countries. So especially dedicated to the Latin American Baroque music.
It's interesting that you bring this diversity in, especially now. It's a very relevant topic for nowadays reality. I'm fascinated by your diverse background in this regard, and that you are so enthusiastically bringing that on stage. In terms of sustainability, your ensemble is amazing, as you exist for so many years. And I was wondering, when you were studying old music in Karlsruhe, was the scene already exposed to that? It was already kind of somewhat a trend, or what was the dynamic back then?
It's different in Germany, as I said before. I mean, the tradition of early music in Germany is there, and people know about it. And I guess you could even ask someone in the street about what is early music, and this person could answer you. It's not the case here, of course. What is this music early in the morning, or what are you speaking about? You know that our motto is never too late for early music. But back then, I was a student, and I was extremely committed to this idea to develop knowledge and to deepen in early music practice. And so we had a vocal ensemble at the Karlsruhe Musikhochschule, and making a lot of concerts and tours, and even in South America and in Europe and in Germany, of course. So this was a extremely good way to come close to be in the middle of the music performance. I would say, sorry, but there was more money at that time. Yes. For music, so we had easier to find sponsors or to make concerts tours. So it seems that the music was really in focus, and now you are obliged to be a company director in order to know where you can find your resources and your fundings, and so it's much time of that what you should do as a musician that you studied and during many years. This time you're using for administrative things, and I think this is a bad thing, but at that time I didn't feel it like this. It was better in that sense.
Yes, I think nowadays it's not quite in balance, especially for younger generations of musicians, and I think it will develop not in the most positive way, that we will need to dedicate our time to administrating tasks and not to practicing on our instrument and develop our creative ideas. Yes, unfortunately, that's the reality. Maybe we could come back to the festival highlights. Could you highlight some of the most memorable performances or moments from past festivals that have stood out to you over the years?
I would like to say one thing before that. We have some policies, and one of them is not to repeat artists. I know that many colleagues out there are keen to invite the same groups again and again with different programs, which is of course nice. But I think that it was more interesting to present always new people and new artists, new performers, and in that way create trust in the audience that the level of quality is always the highest. So even if you don't know the group, or if you don't know the repertoire, you will go there as a listener. One concert that I remember very well is with Rolf Lislevand, our Norwegian lute player that is in France, I think in Lyon. It was him with some other musicians. It was incredible because he has the capacity to be a team player on stage and being great soloist himself, of course. So this concert is something I really remember. Of course, Jordi Savall, the first year, alone in the middle, and the king of everything. So it was.
He played a solo program.
A solo program, yeah. It was a solo program. Other things we created opera performances. There is a Swedish opera from 1782 in Swedish. This, I think, the first or second one written in our language. Before it was only Italian and French. It's called Birger Jarl and Mechthild. There was the founders of the city of Stockholm. So this is a medieval story in a Baroque opera recreated in modern times. It was quite interesting in terms of periods. Another creation we did was a dance, a choreography with Michael Pretorius Terpsichore last year, I think it was. This was special because I don't know so many attempts to do this exactly, and this is a lot of dance music, so why not to create a piece about that, and we did. Yes, of course we had Les Arts Florissants, and we had Freiburger Baroque Orchestra, and Akamus, and Hallenberg, our great singer that is very internationally known. But also, I mean, the festival we are presenting big stars, yes, because we want quality. And we have night concerts for younger people that are lying down on a mattress, and these concerts are really taking place at midnight, so it's a cozy atmosphere. And then we have performances for children, so they can know a little bit about what early music could be. And finally, we also have baby Baroque sessions, where the really smallest one can have an idea, or can, feel something about music and colors and so on.
And what kind of repertoire do you choose for these baby concerts?
This is a colleague of mine doing that. As far as I have seen and heard, it's about some folk melodies, but also maybe the springtime of Vivaldi, known pieces.
I think it's an important aspect that as a child you're exposed to this music, and your first positive memories are about that, and then you come back to that.
Exactly, that is the
pleasure.
trick.
Yes, yes.
Sube, sube, Teodora, el rey de los cielos llama, con tu palo y tu bandora, trabajando la leña. ¿Dónde está la Teodora? Trabajando la leña está, con su palo y bandora, trabajando la leña está.
What criteria do you use to ensure a diverse and high-quality program for your festival?
One of the criteria of the festival is I see it as a composer, let's say. So we are really not working with themes, which is also the case very often and out there, I would say. But I like much more to have the possibility of a palette, playing with colors, with contrasts, with bigger or smaller ensembles, with vocal and instrumental music, or mixed with different time periods from the antiquity to, I would say, late Baroque, but not more. This is a way you as a listener are coming and having impulses from different origins, and this is give you a whole much more complete idea what early music could look like. Through REMA, I'm meeting many groups, and I'm myself going listening to concerts all over Europe, and I know. I mean, after 20 years, you kind of know what is on the market. It's mostly myself looking for all this artistic selection. Of course, also discussing with my colleagues about it. The final result is always a mix and a smörgåsbord, how is in Swedish, a buffet of things that you can select, or you can have everything, and you will always have a very nice experience.
You have already touched the educational initiatives of the festival with the baby concerts and with the courses at the Royal College. And could you highlight on more educational outreach activities that the festival engages?
It has not been the main idea from the beginning, but time is going, and we see the need to educate also the younger generations. So potentially more could be done. We had also workshops and we have seminars. So it's not only concerts. I maybe should also mention the fact that in September 22 we created a national stage for early music at the Concerthaus Musikaliska here in Stockholm. This is the oldest concert house in Stockholm and in Sweden. It's from 1876 or 77. That means a few years after Musikverein in Vienna, for instance. That was a source of inspiration for it. And this building is unfortunately in a very strange administrative situation, so we don't know if we can be there anymore in the future, and we have a lack of fundings for the activities. But during 1.5 years, we had concert series, international concerts, and as a continuation of these activities, as a development, it was thought to have also courses for young people in early music performances. And also coordination of other concerts. So there are a lot of ideas, but if you have not the resources, then it's complicated.
Maybe we talk about the audience engagement. How do you engage and grow your audience? And what strategies have you proven as effective ones?
Early music, in all its complexity, is speaking a very clear and direct language to people. So when they discover it, this is the promise, discovering it. This is the biggest step. But when they discover it, they always come back because they like it. It's incredibly, it's fantastic. One of the steps I could undertake, it was when I was president of REMA from 2011 to 2015. Then I created the Early Music Day. And the Early Music Day, it's today an important visit card for early music in general. So that means the 21st of March on Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday and the first day of springtime. Symbolically united, you have the opportunity to reach out where you are, to your audience, to your friends, and create different concert shapes or whatever you want to do, seminars. Why we choose the birthday of Bach is because Bach is a name that most of people heard about once in their lifetime, so they can relate to. So it is a simple symbol that unite the broad audience with the specific one that are following our area.
Yes, that's a really good strategy to use a symbol that is accessible to most of the people.
Yeah, I think simple things are easier to handle, and you have better results with this.
And I think a lot of the community members, they engage with this day and they post and they share events, concerts, lectures, whatever they produce. I think it's a great opportunity also to be noticed by bigger organizations.
Exactly. You have the opportunity in concert halls that mainly program later classical music, raising awareness, let's say. And now I have also seen that the Early Music Day is being celebrated in Asia, in South America, in the States. So I'm quite proud of this.
Yes, I think that's a good reason to be proud of, yes. What are some of the biggest challenges you have faced in organizing the festival? And conversely, what have been some of your proudest successes?
The biggest challenge is always the economy. I mentioned that before. I think we have very good knowledge about what we are doing, not only organizing, but also artistically speaking. We have a good network of, also through REMA, of course. You have a great team of people working, and now after several years they are so used to what they should do, so that is a smooth way to work. Always challenges, of course, because the planes are late or whatever it could be during a festival. This is not a problem. We have ideas, we have vision, we have people, we have what you need, but the fundings are not sufficient. We are always struggling with this aspect, and I think why it should be like this. We are now in a situation that we are seeing that around. Our colleagues in culture are in the same situation, and they are looking for other type of sources in the private sector. And we in Sweden, we have not this possibility to deduct the cultural sponsoring from your income, and that means we have not this stimulation factor that you could give to a company and say, please look what we are doing, that's good for you, it's win-win, be a sponsor. And they would say, no, this is not interesting. And another aspect, particularly in Sweden, is that the knowledge about culture is quite low, I would say. So there are few people that are interested, but if these people are already committed to things, you are kind of exposed to nothing. And so philanthropy is, of course, something that is coming now more and more, but it will take some years, certainly in our Nordic region, to be there, I think. So I see some difficult years in front of us.
Maybe you are very modest to talk about the greatest successes or achievements, but maybe you could highlight how you create the festival, because you put a lot of personality into this process. And so it's really difficult to separate the festival in a way in your personal artistic creativity.
Yeah.
It's like two areas that are overlapping.
the festival's history is a success. I could not say differently. We have a extremely nice history to look back to, and future we don't know. But what is done, I think we fulfilled a function in the Swedish music society and for the audience. This is a good thing. But I feel the Early Music Day, as I mentioned before, is a personal success, I would say. I'm super happy about that. Then, of course, we are always interacting with, for instance, REMA, the creation of Nordem is the Nordic Early Music Network in 2006. This is also an initiative that came from us. The biggest success is to make people discover something that is worth to know about and to listen to.
Maybe we talk about future plans. Looking ahead, what are your hopes and plans for the future of the Early Music Festival? And there are any exciting changes or additions on the horizon?
The first hope is that we will survive, so that we will have some more years in front of us, because the audience is deserving it. At that point, we have a core group of people that is always coming back and becoming bigger too, and new people are coming. I think the focus is mainly on the national stage of early music at Musikaliska. If we really could find a way to secure the building and to secure the activity in the building, I think this is the main goal, and there's still a lot of job to do with this national stage to anchor it in the community and also internationally. So I would say it's this what I'm looking at.
About the cultural impact, I would also like to mention, in what ways do you believe the Early Music Festival contributes to the cultural landscape, not only of Stockholm, but also broader music community?
For Sweden, we are still maybe the largest event, and even in the Nordic countries, for Baroque, Renaissance and medieval music. I would say the impact is quite big. You can see that in media. We had quite a nice media coverage. One thing we have seen, that after the creation of the Stockholm Early Music Festival in 2002, several other colleagues around in the Nordic countries created their own festivals. Maybe not that broad as us, but there are medieval festivals, there are Renaissance festivals, or several Baroque festivals. For instance, Trondheim or Copenhagen Renaissance, or Valle Baroque in Gothenburg, or BRQ Vanta in Finland, to mention some of them. And this is so I feel that we made a pioneer work that really could take also other people with us, and then we are cooperating with them, of course.
And you encourage them to go on with that and to build something more serious.
Definitely, yes.
And sustainable.
Also mainly through the Nordem network. So all of these colleagues are members in the Nordem network, so that we cooperate. We have we created the early competition that is called early, also yearly, that you hear it. This competition is now, I think we did it 8 times, and this each 2 years in a different Nordic or Baltic country. It's a competition for young early music musicians, ensembles or soloists from the Nordic or Baltic region.
Great initiative. So maybe our younger colleagues who are planning to take part, they should apply. So maybe we could come to some personal reflections. What does early music mean to you? And what do you hope attendees take away from their experience at the festival?
For me, early music and music in general, artistic expression is this is life. This is why you're living for. I think that music has a extremely positive impact in the human being. We need culture. We are culture, and music is one of the most distinctive expressions of it. Personally, I like to create. I like this atmosphere. I like the feedback from people when they have a extremely good musical experience through a concert, for instance. Music is life, basically.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have a conversation with you, and I wish all the best to the festival. And I have incredibly enjoyed these days in Stockholm. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you, Darina. Thank you.